What is up, everybody? My name is Nick, joined once again by my co-host Matt and a special guest, McBetts. McBetts, thank you for joining us once again. You showed your face on TMZ, and now you're a big shot. And you said, "Hey, I guess I'll tease the little people over at Flash Picks, the company you work for, and show my face once again." Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We had a great time this weekend. Let's talk about it for a second. What'd you guys think? I mean, I had a fucking blast. Other than you guys abandoning me at the sports book, no worries. I made up for it, paid for everybody's drinks and food and everything. You know, do you feel bad after that?
Not
little steak dinner could have been on you.
Not at all. Actually, I feel better because they wouldn't have gotten that if I hadn't done what I did. You know, if I didn't leave, they don't have steak dinners paid. So, Trevor, Fast Money Labs, all you guys, you're welcome. Shoot me a thank you text. I'd really appreciate it because without me leaving, Nick wouldn't have done that. You know, those are just the facts.
And I feel bad. I didn't even go to the tailgate. I couldn't even make it that day. Top Golf was awesome in the Devil game. Couldn't make it Sunday. And then I see pictures of steak dinners. I was like, this is the day I should have went to, not the Saturday night gathering.
Well, now you know. Now you know for next time. Don't leave early. Stay for the steak dinner. Stay for the steak dinner. Matt, that was really Matt's Matt paid for the steak dinner by doing that degenerate punt. So I don't know if you heard about this. Matt said randomly I show up. Matt's like, "Oh, Steelers punt next drive. Steelers punch this drive." I was like, "Okay." Minus 105. They're at like their own 45.
They converted 2 long third downs, and I was sweating.
Yeah, I pushed submit. It's spinning. Odds changed to plus 360. I'm like, okay. I put a unit on it, 500. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not good because I don't, right now it's third down, so they obviously got the first down. They get the first down. I'm sweating my ass off. They're at their opponent's 45. Basically, the exact thing that needed to happen happened. He got sacked, brought out back to the 50, and that paid for everything for the rest of the night and started the night going. Little story time.
Love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, but January we're going to be doing this again.
Yes,
with or without. Yeah, with or without the guys from England who banned us, but that's a different story nonetheless. Nonetheless, Jamie. All right. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do.
A lot to talk about. Before we get into McBetts, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. Say it one more time. We got our top 5 current NBA players in the league. We're going to be going over that. And then we're going to go over top 5 players to bet on, or most profitable players, in our opinion, in the NBA currently as well. And then Thursday night football. So a lot to talk about. But first, let's talk to McBetts. Let's get to know the man behind that beautiful profile picture. First of all, why do you hide your face? So, I mean, good looking guy. What's going on?
I was just waiting for the right opportunity, and you had asked me a few times and I just felt like it wasn't right. I was waiting for that special moment. And then TMZ came knocking and I was like, well, this is an easy one. This is an easy answer here,
Yeah. Fuck me.
He was like, Nick, I'm not showing my TMZ? Yeah, I'll show my face.
Yeah, mid-sentence. I'm like, Nick, I don't know. Hold on. TMZ's beeping in. Yep. In.
Yep.
In.
All right. Well, nonetheless, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you.
It's not McBetts. Let's clarify that.
Yeah. I'd never had to say it before. So now that it's like introductions and this and that, I think we're going to go MC bets. It's almost like a
gotcha.
Like
MC
a
bets.
like a noun.
Let's hear the story behind that to begin with, because I want to know how you came up with that name.
It's because he's just on the mic all the time. He's the MC,
Yeah, or it's just my initials, and I needed something quick to create this secondary Twitter account.
So why did you make it? Was it just like a, hey, I'm gonna make a Twitter account. Did you see other
No,
people? Or no?
I was on my personal Twitter account. I would follow gambling Twitter accounts and stat accounts and all this stuff. And the algorithm just got so overflowed with gambling Twitter. That was the only thing I was seeing. I couldn't see my regular follows, any highlights I was looking for. You know how it just shoves it all in your face. And I kind of needed a break. Decided to make a second account just to follow strictly gambling Twitter stuff. I started throwing some slips out there here and there. And now I'm on a podcast with you two guys.
Yeah. Well, you capitalized on a market of degenerate pieces of crap, like myself.
His words. Him. No. I'm still getting used to the interface here.
I knew you were going to be able to do that.
Not his.
You capitalized on. Capitalized.
This guy.
Okay. All right, guys. Can you let me say something? Gosh, it's being rude, guys. Come on. I've been nothing but nice, both of you. That space. You capitalize on the market of lottery tickets, and I think it's genius. Yeah. Who doesn't want to win 100,000, $1 million, whatever on $1? Everybody. Is it going to happen? Maybe one day. Yes. You don't make the shot unless you shoot it.
That's why I thought it was Mick bets. It's like dollar menu, like he's using dollar bets.
Yeah, I mean that's when I first started it. I had the McDonald's arches as the logo kind of playing off, and then I kind of veered into MC bets. I don't know. It might change tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, you were going to get sued by McDonald's. That's
also
his journey. His journey has been great, and your end goal was obviously to come up on an episode of For Bettor or Worse. So you made it. Congratulations.
That's it. I said I'll know when I make it, and it's right now with you two.
Honestly, after this episode, if you want to delete your account, that's probably best because only downhill from here. Downhill.
We're smacking Thursday Night Football here.
Yes. I definitely want to talk about that, but let's get into some NBA players first. Why don't you start us out? You want to start us out?
Sure.
All right, so this is going to be our top 5 NBA players in the league
right now.
Right now.
So I got 5 names here, no particular order, because if you're talking top 5, it's like semantics at that point. Who's 1, 2? They're interchangeable. They're all great. So for me, I'm going no particular order. Luka, Giannis, Steph, Tatum, Embiid. That's where I'm going.
That's a good 5.
I like Embiid this year. He's shooting the 3 a little more. He's stretching the floor a little more, making the defender come out to him. I mean, and he's hot right now. Just dropped 50 the other day, 30 plus the game before that. So each guy's brings a lot to the table. Luka's like a triple-double every night. Giannis can just be a beast in any facet of the game he wants. Steph speaks for himself, his resume. And I think Tatum is really on the cusp of – I mean, he's an all-star, obviously, right now, face of the franchise. But he's on the – I don't even think he's reached his potential yet, to be honest. I think there's a lot more in there that Tatum can do.
I like it. I think I like your list. If you had to pick one guy on that list to start your franchise around – to win, you know what? Not even to start your franchise, to win one championship. Who'd you pick?
Like, we talking one game or one season? Like one
season, one full season. You this is what I want to pick. First pick. We have to win it this year. Who are you picking?
There's 2.
I'm probably gonna say it's between 2 of the 5. I think.
Who are the 2?
Luka and Giannis.
Nailed it.
All right, coin flip. I get it. It
depends. Kind of. I mean,
depends on. I'd say it depends on the other players around you. How you want to build your team. Obviously, they bring 2 different kind of aspects to your team, but you couldn't go wrong with either of those guys.
Yeah,
you couldn't. There's just no way.
I guess I don't know if it's a knock. I guess it depends how you perceive it. If it's a knock on Luka, that he might take over too much to the point where he shoots 35 shots a game and the other guys are just standing around doing nothing, in a sense.
Yeah. Also, if you want to look at it Giannis has won before as well. He knows what it takes. Luka, he's pulled off some magic in the playoffs, but he hasn't really gotten over the hump, which isn't necessarily his fault. But it's a different. I think it's different when you see it. When you see it, you're like, like I think the Celtics were the better team last year than the Warriors were. I really do. I just think the Celtics players are too young, and honestly, we're like, this is what a finals game is. Wow, like we're not
really
ready.
Looked like they kind of ran out of gas, and the Warriors looked at each other and was like, "We've been here before. We know how to get past this hump." Celtics didn't know.
Yeah.
I think I agree. We might see that matchup again in the next. Year or two. Then the Warriors are going to get old and kind of fall off. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next two, maybe we see it again.
I agree.
Warriors falling off. Clip it.
Yeah.
They are going to fall off. They're done. They're almost done right now. You see the wheels falling off now. They are.
Long season.
It is a long season, but
and they do. They
got rid of Wiseman as they should have.
They do weird stuff with the minutes in the beginning of the year.
But this is what happens. Like dynasties end. They've dynasties. It seems like now they also. I'm not gonna say the Celtics weren't ready yet. If they face a team that's ready, I don't think they win. Like if they play the Bucks, I think the Bucks roll through them last year. If he's talking about last year, I think if Chris Middleton didn't get hurt and the Bucks made it, I think they roll. But that's another story. Nick, your top five. You're not gonna hide. Who's your top five?
My top five, no particular order, but you can kind of guess the first two. It's Luka and Giannis. KD, I think he still has it. I think that team as a whole was a mess, and the only reason that they have any wins is because of him. I mean, it's you can't fault him. The whole team is just a shit show, and as a whole, I'm still a Joker fan. Personally, over Embiid. He hasn't looked the best this year, but I still like him and kind of what he brings to the table compared to Embiid. And then it's kind of a mix-up between Tatum, Curry, and Embiid. As my last five, gun to the head, I'm picking Tatum probably or Curry. I just don't like Embiid. I just don't like him. Maybe it was the crying after that Raptors game that changed my mind.
That's so hard.
After a while, but there's just something about it. I was just like, I'm okay. And that's just me being biased. But I can admit that. I can see that. But nonetheless, that's my Luka, Giannis, Joker, KD, and then I would say Tatum, Curry, Tatum, right there.
I think we could say like the league going forward is in good hands.
Oh yeah,
like, all these guys are young. Like these are going to be the stars here the next couple of years.
I mean, you have
a big fall off.
Yeah, and you have other guys, like De'Aaron Fox and Shea and and a bunch of people that are on the up and up, but are just on really, really bad teams. And
but like when you think about it, there's no more bad teams like those bad Nets teams or bad Sixers teams that had like no stars. Like every team in the NBA has a young talent. Like they're not going to win tons of games, but like they have a guy who can win a game on any given night. Not saying it happens often, like consistently, but if you go to like Oklahoma City in the middle of Tuesday, they used to just be like, all right, give me that. Now it's like SGA can drop 40 and now you're in trouble. And I don't think there's any team that doesn't have a guy like that. And it's just the way the talent is going in the league. The court's not getting any bigger, but it seems like the players are getting bigger. They could shoot from further. Like as the years go on, this is going to be pretty fun to watch. Now time for the main event top five. We're all going to have the top five, basically same three guys. I think there's like a two guys like that people aren't going to talk about. My top five, again, not in any order, is Giannis, Luka. I have to I'm going to put Steph Curry in there. Normally I don't like to put guys that I think are defensive liabilities in there, but he's so transcendental on offense that like he makes everything. He opens the floor for everyone. He just makes the offensive game so much easier for everyone and can drop 30 with 10 threes on any given night. So you have to throw him in there, especially coming off last year's championship. And then I have love for some two big guys next, Joel Embiid and Jokic. I think you have to throw Jokic in there because of those last two MVPs he's won. And then Embiid, I think, is just very good. We're almost in like a cool big man's
Yeah.
lead kind of deal. And then KD, Tatum, even LeBron is scary just because like this is for like a whole season. Like if I was to see here's the thing, like if I was to face LeBron in the finals versus Jason Tatum, I'm still gonna be more scared of LeBron right now. I could change my mind at the end of the year, but right now he's still there. As for like a top 5 in like the whole season and stuff, I think he hasn't made it. You could put KD in there probably, but don't hate on LeBron for these 15 games that you're seeing early on in the season with the whole new roster. I think it's kind of unfair. We know he's not as, dominant as he was, but I think it's pretty crazy for him to jump off that many ledges in the first 15 games of the season.
I think he jumped off last year, but that's a whole different discussion that we won't get into.
He averaged like 28 last year.
Let's go. I mean, anything that we need to talk about, anybody have any problems with anybody's list? I mean, it's not that hard to make a top 5. It's really just like a top. It's like
I want
4.
to see the comments top 5. I want to see who people think are the top 5. And who do you guys think had the best top 5? If you could vote whoever the best top 5, I kind of want to see. And no doing this whole, if Nick goes on Twitter and says, I'll give everyone $1 who votes my name. We're not doing that. Real comments down below.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get right into this. Is the interesting list that I want to go over. Top 5 NBA players to bet on, most profitable. Yes. This isn't a science. I haven't looked this up. This is just as far as what I've seen this year and in general is how I made my list. There's probably more profitable props that may be hidden, but this is kind of the 5 that popped out to me overall. Matt, are you going to make a list here?
I have a list. It's over here.
Okay, fantastic. I just want to make sure I didn't see it on the outline. I don't want to go first, mainly because you're going to just steal all mine, but I will.
I'll go first then.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'll go first, and then I want MC Betts to wait because I know he's really excited to say his. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make him wait.
I didn't go, so I didn't really go most profitable.
You went your favorite guys.
My favorite guys that I will. It doesn't matter
ride or die
who they're playing. I am gonna watch these guys play. And I'm throw a couple bucks on them and just hope they go bananas because the entertainment, the excitement. So I'll go backwards because number 1 is my dude. Love him. So 5 this year. He's off to a little slow start. Last year I hammered this guy. He actually was so profitable for me every time he played the Nets. Marcus Smart. His threes are always, the line on his threes are always manageable, and every night he has the chance to hit 5. It's crazy. The value is always there.
Yeah.
His points are always like 11.5, 12.5, and he can go for 15 to 20 on any night. So he gets crazy plus money value. He's fun to watch. This year, not so much. The addition of Brogdon's kind of cutting into his minutes a little bit. And just the Tatum and Brown are even better than they were last year. So he's down on the list. Last year, he was probably number 1. Moving up, number 4, Brandon Ingram. Points. Love it. Again, can he go for 11 and the Pelicans win because they shared the ball and they had a nice team game? Sure. Can he go for 35 just because he's feeling it and is shooting every time down the floor? Yes. Very exciting. I think the Pelicans are a fun team to watch. Last night, that Pelicans-Grizzlies game was awesome. I hope they meet in the playoffs because that would be a hell of a 7-game series watching those guys. So Ingram. And then this year, he's been pretty profitable on a points and assists combo. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
He's involved in every possession. Whether he's knocking down threes, which he's been pretty consistent, hitting 2 and 3 threes a game. So that's kind of been a nice prop. If you can catch 3 at plus money sometimes, he's right on the number all the time. His points and assists, he's averaging 20 and 10. So if it's 29.5, 28.5, it's nothing's a lock, as Nick, likes to say. But if that number dips below 30, I'm taking it every time. Just because 20-10 for him is like a walk in the park. And you're cashing sometimes in the third quarter, which is crazy. Number 2, I just love he hasn't played a lot the last couple of games. His minutes have been limited. Klay Thompson. I'm a big Klay Thompson guy. Did he let me down a few times early this year with this whole minute restriction thing? Yes. Did he go 2 for 11? Yes. 0 for 7. Yes.
But the volume's there.
Volume's there.
I love watching him, and I love watching him on the offensive side of the ball, obviously running behind screens, trying to get open. And it seems like they try to get him the ball early to kind of get him in a groove, and that'll dictate the rest of the game for him. So if he comes out and knocks down maybe 2 threes in the first quarter, we're in serious, 5+, maybe 25+ points is a serious marker that we can hit. Or he goes 0 for 2 and he sits on the bench for 10 minutes. It's kind of like a boom or bust early in the first quarter for him. But I'm a big Klay guy. It just is one of those things. I'm going to take him. If his points go down, I try to catch him in that when the books kind of are in that weird
when they give up on him.
You'll catch Klay points at like 15 or something weird, and you're like,
yeah,
he knocks down 3 threes, gets to the line a few times. This is easy money in a sense. So I'm a big Klay guy, but number one, I don't even know what to say. This guy is like electric. Jalen Green. I feel like he's 11 to 12 threes a night. The guy just pulls up from wherever. 35. I love playing him like over whatever his line is, over 2.5, over whatever his points line is. A lot of times it hovers right around 20.5. But then I'll take him 4 threes, 25 points, 5 threes, 30 points, almost like ladder the threes and points combo. He's just electric to watch. Even if I didn't have money on him, I'd probably, if the Rockets were on, and I would probably watch the game just to watch this guy play. Very exciting.
I love your list. I think your list is fantastic.
I mean, I brought the heat. This is my debut here. I couldn't come in with a dud. I came in like Jalen Green.
Those are great guys.
Jalen Green.
I do like your list. Could it be better? Sure. But do you enjoy watching all those players play? Yeah.
That's what it is. All right, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can't be too upset about any list, But let's get into a real list. The official list, the best list, the Knicks list. I'm going to go through it real quick. I actually numbered these, so this is in order. Ja points, number 5. It's been pretty electric this year, taking on the workload, scoring a shitload of points. Seems to be just cashing it and staying right around that 30 mark. Speaking of scoring a shitload of points, Luka points. And Luka RA, Luka rebounds, Luka assists. Depends on the matchup. Luka PRA, I mean, he's just doing it. He's literally doing everything for that entire team. So you can't be too upset. Any center versus the Warriors. That's all I'm going to say.
And the Hornets.
And the Hornets, but the Warriors this year might be worse than the Hornets last year. I mean, it's real bad.
Bad.
It is real bad. And I'm looking to take advantage of that, hopefully with 8 tonight. On the points, we'll know by the time you're watching this if that worked out well. But just in general, they're just getting shit on rebounds and points. You could also throw San Antonio Spurs. Statistically, it's the same situation, but I've just seen huge numbers versus the Warriors. Even versus guys, if they get the minutes, they're getting shit on. Halliburton, assists, points, or PA. I mean, you can't really go wrong with either as far as that's concerned. And then SGA points. I mean, he's absolutely electric. They're keeping him right around the 27 to 29.5. He had 12 at halftime. He had 31 the time I flicked it back on in the third quarter.
Yeah.
It's just he's absolutely electric. He's taking all the shots necessary, and he's shooting pretty much over 50%. I haven't checked the stats recently, but he's shooting a higher percentage as well. And getting plenty of usage is exactly what you want when you're looking for points. That is my list, top 5. I also enjoy watching all those guys. So, I have no problem with that. And I love target a big man. Mm-hmm. So going against
let me ask you this. So you like to target the big man against the Warriors, obviously. Do you in addition to that, do you kind of look at point guard assist there because you figure that he's going to be feeding the ball in?
I do.
Kind of like if that's one, if center points against the Warriors say is one, is like two, maybe assists for the point guard. Do you try to?
It depends on the point
elongate
guard.
it that much.
Yeah, it depends on the point guard, and if they do a lot of pick and roll situation, because that's what I'm gonna target is the pick and roll, because that's gonna be, a direct opportunity to get the assist, alley oops, whatever, So like Chris Paul would be one. Maybe tonight I didn't even look at that line honestly. Getting a whole different story, but the injury news recently has been insane, and waiting on these props until like 7:00 at night is absurd. It's absurd.
It's really hurting. Like everyone's got their own personal stuff going on, and if you can't get plays out at 11 o'clock because there's no props, you might not be able to circle back till 6. And now it's like all the other guys have their plays out. Everyone's playing. All the lines are moved from this afternoon, and it's kind of like it's not great currently.
It's disgusting. Yeah. But when when you're looking at someone's points, I always like to look at how are they getting that points. Are they the main, are they going to just ISO, or are they going to, work off, pop shots, or how are they doing it, and who's going to be involved in that play? That's always something to look at. And a lot of that goes into usage. So you can look at potential assists. That's on NBA.com, guys. That's huge. Potential rebounds, potential assists. Those are the two things you need to be looking at a lot, just to see, what their average is. Because if you're looking for, say, a 10 assists and the guy's only having 12 to 14 potential assists a game, that's a small margin of error.
Yeah. That means everyone's got to knock down every shot, and it's
exactly, and that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, that's all stuff that I look at, and you should look at as well when studying plays. But let's go to, I got the last and worst for last.
This is the best list. This is actually,
come on, I just did the best list.
This is a great list. My list is, it's probably just the best one you'll ever see when you're like, wow, I should have put that guy on my list.
Yeah.
My list comes from a basketball perspective. I played basketball my whole life, understand the game of basketball. These guys have my list are guys that could take over at any given time. But they're not like big names. They're not like the KDs, the Giannis's, but they can really take over any game and go for 35 in their sleep almost. So number 5, he may be your favorite villain if you've watched some great basketball movies. Anthony Edwards,
all right.
Good actor, great actor, but even better basketball player.
Yeah,
when he catches fire, it's just electric, man. Yeah. He could control the whole tempo of a game, the pace, just what the defense is doing. All eyes on Anthony Edwards. So he's my number 5. My number 4 is a guy who's not as electric per se, but he controls the game and every facet of it. And he passes the ball very well as it is Darius Garland. I love that guy. On a great team of young guys who can all hoop, honestly, but he kind of is the floor general, even with the additions that they got. When the offense runs through him, it's a thing of beauty. You could shoot the 3, you could drive, you could dish, he could do it all. So that's me at number 4. Number 3, assist from MC Betts is Jalen Green, because that guy can just light up any building. And I remember late last year, his like 4+, 5+3 is almost automatic. In like the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yep.
It was almost like, and they just kept it like +200, +300.
They never moved it. It was insane. It was insane. Never moved it.
That's number 3. Number 2, this is more of a playoff guy. I love betting NBA in the playoffs because I think it's more of like a chess match where you're going to think of how they're going to run their offense against each other. And nothing better than a Drew Holiday on the Bucks in a postseason run. He plays defense really well. Pull-up jumpers, nasty. Assists, rebounds, scoring. At will, can create his own shot. So that's a little personal bias for me and Drew Holiday. Probably not on anyone else's list, but for me, he's just one of the best defenders as a guard as well. So he can really do it all. My number 1 guy, some say he's not even the best player on his team. I think he's underrated in that aspect. it is Jaylen Brown. When Jaylen Brown catches fire, there's nothing like it. When he makes 3 threes in a row in a playoff game or a regular season game, the man just chucks it from deep. And to me, it just looks cooler when Jaylen Brown's going off compared to Jason Tatum. So personal bias for me is Jaylen Brown. That's my 5. I think it's a great 5.
I think it's cool that we each had a different, 5, I guess, but we each had a different top guy.
Yeah.
So kind of like everyone has their own little thing that they either are profitable in or like to watch or markets they like to bet. So like I like points and threes, so I'm riding the Jalen Green train all day. So that's pretty cool.
I agree. Well, we had some great lists, guys. Again, let us know who your favorite guys are in the comments. We have some Thursday night football, which usually sucks. But we actually have a good game here for once. The Titans surprised some people, I think, this year. I know we all know they're a good team, but to sit alone at the top of their division at 6-3 is a pretty cool thing. I think their record speaks for itself. Their division also kind of blows, but it is what it is. And the Packers are 4-6, spreads 3. Really important game for the Packers, who trail in the NFC North. It's a big game for both teams, but the Packers almost have to win out if they want to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Nick, I know you've been, not doing much NFL. I want to see MC Betts' thoughts on this game as a whole. Are you playing the spread? Are you playing the over/under? Any props you like? What are your thoughts?
So there's staying away from the spread here. Things get weird Thursday night. Titans like to run the ball, eat up a lot of clock, a lot of time of possession. Spread, not my thing. Try to, especially when it's hovering around that 3.5 number, it gets a little funky in there. And sometimes the best bet is to just stay away and take some other stuff. So I have a couple props, but I also noticed that the under is sitting at 41 right now. Overall, Tennessee's had 6 straight unders of their number. A few of them have even been under 30. A lot of 17-10s in there. That's what happens when you have such a great run game. You eat up a lot of the clock, not a lot of scoring opportunities. So their high of the season has been 48-46 in back-to-back games. One of those was a loss to the Bills, 41-7. They haven't come close to giving up 41 points since. The other was a 24-22 win in Oakland. But they've been under 41, which is the number tomorrow night, in 5 straight. Green Bay only averages about 18 points a game and gives up about 21. So I'm leaning under here due to the short week. Thursday night football, these games have kind of taken a little while to get going. Combine that with the Packers not really having the same offense they've had the past couple of years with Rodgers. He's kind of still feeling it out. They're not really scoring a lot of points. And Tennessee just absolutely hammers the time of possession game with Henry on the ground. So their drives take forever, which leads to the under. So I think I'm leaning under 41 here for the total.
I think I love that angle. Also, the Packers, if you saw a game script, the Packers allow the second most rushing yards to running backs.
It's a nightmare matchup for the Packers because the Titans are going to be like, good luck, and we're just going to try to run it down your throat. And if you stop us you get us 3 and out, we're going to stop you with our great defense, and then we're going to try to run it down your throat again. They're not pivoting. They're not going to start throwing the ball, Tennessee. Their whole offense is through Derrick Henry. I mean,
you also don't want to get into a shootout with Aaron Rodgers. As you can see, the Cowboys probably shouldn't have, probably should have played a little more defensive, ran the ball more a little bit last week, ended up blowing a lead because when you're going those high-scoring games against Aaron Rodgers, regardless of who he has as wide receiver, it's just not something you want to do with Ryan Tannehill, and you have Derrick Henry, and game script literally says, we're going to run Derrick Henry 2-3 times each set of downs until you can stop it. And they haven't proven that they can stop it.
And Green Bay's given up 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Well, if they run Henry 3 times, the first down.
Yeah.
And they're just going to do it again and again and again. And they've shown it the last couple of weeks, especially with with is Willis still starting? I don't think
No,
Tannehill's gotten
it's going to be Tannehill.
He got
Yeah.
it. He's playing, but who knows? I mean, it's not like Peyton Manning's coming out here. It's still Ryan Tannehill, and Derrick Henry's still the best player on the field.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this game, it just begging me to take Derrick Henry props. Like, it just even at 102 yards, he can easily do that. Easily do that. And there's a couple alternate plays that kind of pulled up stuck out. So if you want to be a little risky, go for a little longer shot. I brought this up just for you. So MC Bets, you got it. 50 yards in each half for Derrick Henry plus 300.
Ooh,
something to think about. And then obviously, if you just want to go,
line is like 101. So
I saw it at 102.5. About an hour ago.
Yeah, it's just a matter if he gets 50 in the first and 50 in the second.
Yeah.
That's really, you get 49 in the first, you're screwed. You can still clear the whole entire line. But at plus 300, something to kind of consider as maybe like a fun play.
Yeah, that's cool.
It will keep you engaged the entire game as well. And then if you just kind of want to go, you could do like Derrick Henry, 150 yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns is like plus 800. If you really think he's going to dominate, obviously he's going to get the ball, right? He's going to get the ball. Yeah. So I mean, I just kind of want to take his yards and watch him work. I think the Packers coming off an emotional win versus the Cowboys in overtime at home. That was a big win, huge win. Down by 14 in the third. They come back, score 14 unanswered, win in overtime. Cost me some money. Nonetheless, it was fun to watch. And they're, maybe they're a little worn out offensively, defensively. It's just a big emotional win. It can drain you.
I just think the short weeks for these Thursday games are just so bad. And I think it's easier to have the defensive chemistry than it is to have the offensive chemistry. In my mind, I know some may not agree, but these short weeks, it's going to be a ground and pound and kind of get out of there. I have a fun play. I'm going to play both sides here. If you go on those game specials on FanDuel, you could do those like to score the first touchdown and this guy to score the second touchdown. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to bet both of these, and it's Derrick Henry to score the first touchdown and Aaron Jones to score the second. And there's also Aaron Jones to score the first and Derrick Henry to score the second. Okay. Both at plus 3,100. With the wide receiver, I guess, lack of depth from the Packers, Aaron Jones has obviously been a workhorse for them.
I mean, who do the Titans have either?
That's what I'm saying. And then Derrick Henry.
Yeah, because if Tennessee scores, it's going to be Henry. You got him one or the other. It's just a matter of, is it going to be Jones who gets in for Green Bay?
Yeah, exactly. So I love that play at plus 3,100 each. It's definitely going to be fun to sprinkle a couple bucks on those and watch it happen. But I do think the under is the play for me. I'm definitely going to throw an alt under in a same game parlay, just because to make the odds better. I wouldn't throw a lot of touchdown scores tonight, just because of that.
Few and far between.
Yeah, so it is what it is. As far as the spread goes, or even just to win, who do you think wins this game?
I think Tennessee, due to their kind of time of possession angle run game, that they can get a first down on the ground and just keep the ball away from Rodgers.
Yeah, go Nick.
If they have a good start, last week they didn't have a good start and had to play from behind, and that was, they did come back. They covered because that was my play. But if they have a good start and stay on top of Green Bay, it's going to be a lot easier, because if you get back in these passing situations, then you're completely out of your game script, and it's going to affect you. If you're down by 7, you're down by 14 early, you're behind 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, blah blah blah. You're gonna have a lot harder time moving the ball the way you want to, obviously. So it's really just staying ahead of the sticks and staying ahead of Green Bay as a whole, and making sure you can do your plan.
If Green Bay gets up early, 7-0, 10-0 or something, and they make Tannehill, like they changed Tennessee's offensive game plan where they're going to have to start throwing the ball. That's going to play into Green Bay's hands because Tennessee's strength is obviously the run game. So they play great with the lead and as far as managing the clock. So if Tennessee can keep Green Bay at bay early and establish the run and kind of they're going to dictate the way this game is going to be played, they should win the game.
I know we're running a little late here. Do we want to do a squad play? I know both of you guys like the under. I like the rushing props.
I like Henry over yards.
Oh, Henry over yards. I mean, I'm with you on that. Matt, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think under or Derrick Henry, anything is a good angle just because of the matchup.
Like if you look at the past couple of weeks, the running backs are not only going over their line, they're obliterating this line against Green Bay. Like Tony Pollard last week, his line was 64, ran for 115.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams the week before, 51, ran for 81. Like they're blowing by these numbers.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, I'm not saying Henry's going to run for 150, but if Tony Pollard ran for 115, which was 40 over his line, I think Henry's got a pretty good shot at hitting 100.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Even if they, the Packers know they're going to run the ball, which they do know. I don't think that's
it doesn't matter.
You still have to stop them. So, guys, anything else we have for today's episode? We talked about a lot. Went through the list. MC Bets, happy to have you on, let's have you on again very, very soon. So
definitely,
Matt. Anything else you can think of for today?
No, I do see MC Bets has 49.8K followers on Twitter. Give him a follow. Let's get him to 50K. 50K. That's a milestone. Well deserved. I did think you were McBets for a while, but glad we resolved that issue.
Yeah, I mean, tomato kind of.
And I will say, when I was first starting as well, you were always just a great dude. Now that we've bonded and worked for the same company, hung out. I saw you in person. Not a serial killer, guys. He's not a serial killer.
This is it.
We're good.
Real. Yeah.
No, just a great dude to send to 50K followers. And yeah, hope to see you around more often. It's great to see another face besides Nick. So
yeah.
Guys, once again, thank you for joining us. We will be back on Saturday morning, 9 Eastern time. Other than that, bet responsibly, enjoy Thursday night football, and let Matt know how shitty his list in the time. All right, guys, thanks.